Welcome into the first ever edition of AZ Audibles on Sports360AZ.com. On the far right, that's Jordan Ham. Middle, Eric Sorensen. I'm Jared Cohen. Every week, we are out and about around the state covering high school football. We're not going to give you the big feature stories that we like to tell on the website. AZ Audibles is for the stories behind the stories, maybe some notes or tidbits that we find interesting that we will bring each and every week. Let's look back at last week, starting with you, Eric. You were at the first big marquee game of the season, Chandler Wolves against Pinnacle. What were some of your takeaways?
Well, Jared, everyone knows about Chase Lucas, Nikhil Harry, Mason Moran, all the skill players the Wolves have. But some guys that are kind of flying under the radar are the guys up front that are taking care and making holes and creating space for those. One of those is Dustin Woodard. He's an offensive lineman, a mauler, really good player. On the other side of the ball, Thomas Chisholm, 6'2", 280-pound defensive lineman, was wreaking havoc in your alma mater's backfield all last week. He's a guy to keep an eye on when it comes to recruiting. At the very least, he's going to get some Division II offers. Definitely
have big guys in the trenches. We'll talk about their game coming up next week, which you're going to be present for. We'll get to that in a minute. First, last week I caught a doubleheader. First started off at Liberty going up against Basha, Liberty's first game at the Division I level. Basha, we've talked about Ryan Kelly. We've told his story. We've talked about the great guys on the offensive line. The defense is what's going to make Basha a state championship contender, and they had a stud at safety, Seth Doumbia. 4 interceptions last week. Just in 1 week, catapults himself to the top of the leaderboard for interceptions. This is a guy also runs downfield really well, makes plays, tackling the running backs when needed, stays in the secondary for interceptions. And how about this for a little tidbit, guys? Liberty, he's their backup kicker right now, but he is going to be a playmaker. His name is Gustav Soderlund from Stockholm, Sweden. He is 6'4". He's a skinny guy, maybe about 170 pounds. They're saying that this guy's already nailing 45-yard field goals, and he's never played football in his life. Wow. They just need to nail down the consistency. But this is a guy in a special teams realm that you could be watching out for Liberty. Jordan, how about you last week?
I was over at Mountain Point and Marcos Deniza, and the guy that really stood out was Macarius Blunt. He's the new running back for the Pride. Last year, the Pride had 3 guys go play on the next level, and Macarius is well on his way. He had 30 carries, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The guy runs angry. He draws a lot of contact and ran over quite a few Padres.
So now let's look ahead to this coming week. And Eric, the hashtag is Friday Night 360AZ, but you make it interesting. You do it Thursday night and Saturday night as well, which is what you're going to be doing this coming week, starting with Thursday night's matchup, big one between Saguaro and Centennial.
A couple heavyweights. We're going to start out at Glendale Community College, like you said, Centennial, Saguaro. I'm going to keep my eye on the quarterbacks. Isaac Steele, a senior for the Coyotes, really good player, was a two-way guy, still playing both ways. And for Saguaro, Corey Lyles, I was at his first game last year, his first start on varsity against Chaparral. He's come a long ways. He's committed to Wisconsin, and he is a much more confident quarterback going into this year than he was last year. And then this weekend, I'm going to be making the trip up to Sin City. Chandler taking on Bishop Gorman. Tate Martell, junior quarterback for the Gales, is committed to Texas A&M because all great quarterbacks west of the Mississippi head to A&M. Also, keep your eye on Alex Perry, junior lockdown corner, is committed to ASU to play for Todd Graham.
I'm going to be going out to the Southeast Valley. It's going to be the Jones Bowl between Mesquite and Perry. Jim Jones, the head coach of Mesquite, going up against his son, Preston Jones. It should be a really fun dynamic. And a couple guys I'm excited to see. Jordan, you did a feature last season on Case Hatch, linebacker, very active, leader on defense all over the field. This guy's a stud. I'm excited to check him out. And then it's going to be my first chance to see Roy Lopez for Mesquite. He's their top prospect on their team. Gets it done on the offensive and defensive line. He's a mauler. Eric, you did a nice little feature on him during Passing League. I'm excited to see both of those guys. Should be a good matchup in the Southeast Valley.
And I'm headed to Boulder Creek and O'Connor. Defensively for Boulder Creek, you have Blake Labno and Scott Perry. Those are two guys that played last year, big-time contributors. They're looking to expand their senior years. And then also Gunther Johnson, the quarterback for the Jaguars, 28 passing touchdowns last year, 8 rushing, so he can find the end zone at any point. And then for O'Connor, there's a couple of receivers. They combined for 17 touchdowns last year. That was Michael Teitler and Seth Cutter. So those are guys to watch out for as well.
That's Jordan Ham, Eric Sorensen. I'm Jared Cohen. We'll be back next week. We'll look back at week 1 and look ahead to week 2. It's AZ Audibles on Sports360AZ.com.